Welcome to the product tutorials on understanding the timesheet UI components available on the custom timesheet format while creating a timesheet template in Replicon. I'm now logged in into the Replicon instance. In this video, we will talk about all the UI components that are available within the custom timesheet format for any person who is trying to create a timesheet template based on this particular format. In order to create a timesheet template on this format, go over to Administration and click on Timesheet Templates. Now click on Add Timesheet Template, and depending on the modules that you have purchased, you would either have this view where you will have an option to autofill the timesheet with, or you would have a drop-down called Timesheet Format drop-down where you can go ahead and choose the custom timesheet format. If you have this view, that means that all your timesheet templates that you are creating in the system is by default the custom timesheet format. If you do not have this view, if you have a timesheet format drop-down, then click on the drop-down and choose the custom timesheet format. Now move over to the timesheet UI and click on the Add a UI component. In this video, we will talk about all the components that are present here and the details on what they would perform when they add it to the timesheet template. The first one is the approval history section. Once added to the timesheet template, you would ideally have the access to see when was the timesheet submitted, when was it approved or rejected, was it reopened or edited, or was it submitted on behalf of that user by somebody else. The next UI component that's available here is called attestation. This is available so that you can provide some instructions to your users which they compulsorily have to go ahead and read. You can go ahead and put a title, and you can go ahead and put a text, and this particular attestation would be available on the timesheet, and in order to ensure that they have read through the instructions, they will have a checkbox that they would have to check, and then they can go ahead and submit the timesheet. The next UI component that you have here is called daily fields. This is one section where you can go ahead and create fields or custom fields that can be made available on the timesheet. Now to create one, you can click on the Add Field section and you can click on the Create Field definition up here. You can choose the name, description, the type of field that you want to create, and if it's a drop-down, you can add up the options up here. This particular field will then be available on the timesheet. The next component that we're going to talk about is the in-out component or the in-out times widget. When you enable this, a person would ideally be only going to be adding the in time and the out time in the timesheet. You can ensure if they can track breaks, you can go ahead and put in time entry comments, you can have split times that move over the midnight crossover, and you can put up a rounding rule by putting a snap time to the nearest. The next UI component is in-out plus allocation, where you will be putting in the in time and the out time and allocating them to the projects and tasks. So you have this table where you can ensure that you can view the project and task. You can go ahead and filter the project by clients. You can have the billing rates updated or seen up on the timesheet for the user to record. You can have the activities, comments. You can add a custom field to be included on this particular widget. You can have the break time, split times that move over the midnight, and you can have a rounding rule to go ahead and snap the time. The next is the notice, which is absolutely same as the attestation with a slight difference. Where attestation has a checkbox that needs to be checked before the timesheet gets submitted, the notice is basically just a set of instructions that a user may or may not read. There are no checkboxes available for the notice widget that you have up here. The next component that's available here is the payroll summary that ensures if the user can go ahead and see the pay amount that's been allotted to him, and if he can go ahead and see the totals. If you do not want the totals to be seen by the user, you can check the second option that says disable totals. The next UI component is schedule. If you want your users to view what schedule or what shift are they currently working on, then you can include this widget and people would go ahead and see the shift that they have been assigned to. The next section that you have here is called Target Billable Hours. This is directly related to the Target Billable Hours section available within the administration section. This will ensure if you can go ahead and see a graph that will represent the total billable hours that you're supposed to be recording in a particular month, And as you go ahead and proceed with the billable hours entry, the graph would slowly move forward to display your progress. The next one that you have here is the time distribution grid. The time distribution grid is used by people who will be recording the total hours against projects and tasks or the total hours against activities in the system. They will not ideally be putting in the in time and the out time on the timesheet. So in order to have the total hours input, you can include this widget, you can ensure if there are projects and tasks, you can filter the project by clients, you can have the billing rate updated there, you have the activities, comments, you can add a custom field by clicking on the add field section, you can snap the duration by putting up a rounding rule if you need be, and you can allow negative durations. So if you want to allow negative time on the timesheet, make sure that the last option is checked. The next component is for time of bookings. Whatever bookings you make for a particular period in terms of time off, they all will be available as summary in this particular widget on your timesheet page. The next one that you have here is the time off in lieu, where you can go ahead and see all your time off in lieus available directly on the timesheet page. The last one is called time punches, where you ideally would be using a cloud clock device wherein you will be punching in and punching out of work, and all your punches will be transferred to this particular widget called the time punches widget. So whatever you clock in and clock out, they will automatically get synced or transferred to your time punches widget timesheet. This is all about all the UI components available within a custom timesheet format. Did you know that you can now get in touch with Replicon and stay updated about the Replicon new features using the Replicon community? In order to access our community, go over to the customer zone from our website, and on the customer zone, click on community. Now you can post your ideas, questions, and if you click on categories and go ahead and move over to the category called product updates, then you can click on follow and stay updated about the new features of Replicon.